Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I am continuing my Stephen King marathon. There are so many Stephen King films, and this is one of the better ones, which I've always loved, Silver Bullet. It's based on Cycle of the Werewolf, which I always noticed, it always stood out as a Stephen King book because it had a illustrated edition that was printed, which had red embossing with the blood on the cover, and that is just really beautiful. I still don't have a copy of it. I stumbled across a free copy a while ago, and I couldn't take it with me because I was going out that night, and I still regret not taking it with me when I went out to the club and just carrying it around or sticking it somewhere, because I still don't have a copy of it, and it's one of his. It was an illustrated novel, so it was almost like a graphic novel. It's a great story. Basically, it's a werewolf story. So Stephen King did his vampires, he did his ghosts, his haunted hotel, he did his werewolves. He covered all the classics. And this was his werewolf story. Basically, it's about a small town. I think it's based around the late 70s. It was filmed in 84, 85, released in 85. Stars Corey Haim and Gary Busey as his uncle, and Everett McGill from Twin Peaks is the Reverend. And basically just a werewolf starts killing people in the town. It's a very small Maine town, very close-knit, and this sends shockwaves through the town. And I remember thinking, nothing like this ever happened when I was a kid. There was never anything happened to our town. And I always wonder what it would have been like if you'd lived through something like this. Something like The Town That Dreaded Sundown or something like that. I've always been interested in those films where a small town is confronted by some sort of crisis. But the Corey Haim character is a kid who can't walk. He has his own motorized wheelchair. His uncle, I think it's his uncle makes him basically, it's like I don't know what it is. It's like a cross between a motorbike and a wheelchair, and they call it the Silver Bullet. And he starts to believe it's a werewolf. His uncle thinks he's crazy. His uncle gives him a bunch of fireworks to celebrate the 4th of July, because the 4th of July has been cancelled because the town is basically locked down. And he goes out in the middle of the night in his Silver Bullet with the fireworks to set them off, and it attracts the werewolf. The werewolf attacks him. He uses the fireworks and shoots him in the eye with a firework. He escapes, and they use that wound to work out that it's actually the priest, played by Everett McGill. And they send him messages telling him to kill himself, to spare, the town from his monstrous ways. He won't do it because that's against his religion, of course. And eventually they convince their uncle to help them. He goes to the police, and he does at least convince him to check out the priest. The guy who's actually played by Locke from Lost, which I didn't recognise him because it's so long ago. He looks so different. I didn't realise it was him until I watched it tonight. He goes to investigate. He gets killed. Eventually, they set up on the full moon, which just happens to be Halloween, to have the parents out of town, so the uncle's babysitting them, and they basically wait for the werewolf to come. They're prepared with a silver bullet that they made out of the children's jewellery, and they wait. And he comes, and they manage to shoot him in the other eye, and he turns back into a human and dies. And that's the end of the story. And the nice part is the children, they didn't get along. The sister always resented the brother because she always had to help him because he was disabled. And the parents always favoured him and babied him. She resented him. She was pretty bitter. But they learnt to appreciate each other when they nearly, died. So they were able to say they loved each other at the end. And it's a nice film. Everything about it's good. The sense of fear and the community sort of terror and everything, and the brother and sister working together. I always like films with a younger brother and older sister, that sort of dynamic, that age, because I had a sister a few years older than me. So films like Friday the 13th Part 4 and this, any film where you've got an older sister and a younger brother, it always makes me feel like how I grew up and how me and my sister were, because I was a bit of a freak and she always resented me as well. So I sort of relate to it. And it feels like the town where I grew up again. A lot of these small Maine towns just feel like that sort of town. So I love it. I don't know why I don't watch this film more. I just kind of forget about it. And it didn't do well at the box office. I'm really shocked. It cost $7 million and it made $12 million. It was released in, I think it was 1985. Yeah, October 11, 1985. So it came out for Halloween and only made $12.4 million. I don't know how it didn't make more. It had Corey Haim in it. There was a Stephen King film, and werewolves. I mean, what more do you need? I loved it. I'm going to go, I think I'm going to watch Graveyard Shift next. I'm not sure. I'm going to work through all Stephen King's films eventually. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. This is a cult classic and it deserves it.